Hey, look, we're live. Wait, this, hey, y'all gotta chill. Y'all gotta chill. Hey, it's probably nothing. It's probably nothing. I wouldn't even, bro. You can't make this shit up. You really, you really can't. We're hey, it's a call-in show. Let's enjoy this together. If there's any FSU fans in the chat, we're here for you. Okay, we want to hold you, cuddle you. Okay, if you guys want to talk about it, get it off your chest. We're here. Um, it's a great day. It's a great day to be a Gator. Let me share this article with you guys. Let's just dive right into the damn thing and break it all down here. So FSU was caught cheating. Here is the 247 Noel's 247 version of what happened, and I like it because it's more cut and dry versus like the NCAA version where it's a more like professional version. And it's kind of funny because they call the kid out who does it too, which makes it even sweeter. So Brendan's son in here, we'll make sure we give him credit. Go Knowles. The NCAA is punishing Florida State for a recruiting violation tied to NIL collective Rising Spear and the recruitment of Georgia offensive tackle Amaris Mims. Okay, so Georgia beat you 63-3, and they beat you at recruiting when you cheated. Okay, just making sure I got the dotting the I's and crossing the T's here. Offensive coordinator Alex Atkins is found to have committed two. Wow. He went back for seconds. Okay. 2 level 2 violations. The NCAA reports do not specifically mention Mims, but we can confirm through multiple sources that there is a recruitment that led to the punishment. That looked like that could be a little bit of a jab there. You know what I mean? Like, hey, this hasn't been reported, but we're going to go ahead and drag the recruit that was involved with it because we're pissed. Just a thought. I could be wrong. I'm asking questions. I'm asking questions here. All right, that's just my thing here. Hey, hey, what happened?
Dude, it's always a good day when something like this happens.
This is incredible. Look, man, so this is where it gets better. So Atkins will be suspended for the first 3 games of 2024 and will have 2-year show cause penalty attached to him. We will have more on what show cause penalty entails later. FSU must also disassociate from Rising Spear for a year. The collective has fallen behind and becomes less prominent in the battle's end, which is the collectives associated with FSU football and was founded in December of 2022 after Mims' recruitment that drew NCAA's attention. So I like it. It's basically saying like, hey, we've got too many collectives. This is a good thing. That's one hell of a way to spin it. The NCAA deemed that head coach Mike Norvell was not responsible for the violation and that he set clear expectations regarding compliance within the football program. Oh, okay. So one of your people under your household break the rules, but he's free and clear. Cool.
I understand. I would do the same thing if I was going to cheat. I'd be like, hey, look, I told him not to cheat.
Absolutely. So the big thing here, I was wondering what the 2 years of probation entailed because that's all like most articles are saying. So what it entails is it includes further educating coaches, which is fantastic. I think Norvell needs to have some more classes on NCAA compliance, informing prospects in the football program, and writing that the situation is on, probation for 2 years, and detail the violations committed, as well as making similar info visible to recruits on official visits or signees. Publicly acknowledging the violation via statement on the athletic department website and more. And then they got a $5,000 fine. They've got 5% reduction of football scholarships over the next 2 years. They can't visit guys over a couple of days. I mean, you see it all there. What's your thoughts on that, Cole? Let me get Matthew in here too.
And from what I understand too, that's not even all of it. There's more to come from what I was reading. Darren Heitner, is that how you say his name? I can't remember it now off the top of my head.
Oh, the lawyer that kind of got us in trouble with Rashada and then went and got in bed with Ruiz. I'm listening.
I was wondering what all that drama was. I haven't figured it all out yet. That's a whole different part. I truly don't know. But he was, I just barely read a post that he was saying it's not all done yet. There's more to come. But I don't know if you trust him or not. I just read that. But
this one's weird. It feels weird. I don't know. There's something about it. It's like where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's a lot of smoke here.
So more allegations are to come, is what we're saying here. Then.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know. That's just what I read. But I think the weird thing is, the thing that is funny to me is that he's just kind of throwing his hands up in the air, like, "Hey, I didn't do anything." For damn sure he was in on all of it.
For sure. It is interesting to dig again. Amaris Williams, let me go here and click over. I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but he was a 5-star offensive tackle. Obviously now he's at Georgia. Number 3 offensive tackle in 2022. So wild. Look, I think, and even if, the violations that we were just looking over aren't anything insane. I mean, they're rough, right? The degrading the scholarship, the 1-year disassociation from the collective, that's pretty big. A 3-year disassociation from the booster. So that person may have not been, the collective thing, they try to spin the collective of like, hey, we're not connected with that collective anymore, but maybe that booster moved collective and now he can't be associated with it as well too. Yeah. What this is going to do, it's a stain. Any which way you want to paint this thing, it is a stain on what they're trying to do currently.
Can I get a little more context? Because I'm confused. So Amaris Mims, he's like a late first-round projected tackle. Like, he's a beast, right?
Sure.
Where does he fit into this whole thing? Because he's like a program-changing tackle type of guy. He's not just there.
What are you asking? Why his name's being brought up?
What affiliation does he have with this? He's not even FSU.
Yeah, so that's what this article here decided to drag him and throw his name under the bus, that he was the recruit that was essentially tampered with, or I guess violated with.
It's a lot easier to drag the guy that's not yours than drag the guy that's yours. So it's like I respect it. It's like when you blame something on someone and they're not there anymore, and there's no you can't fact check it. There's nothing behind it, and it's almost like I don't want to talk completely down on FSU, even though I love the fuck FSU train. It's the best train to be on. But I don't want to hop on that train until it's for sure. But at the same time, there's a lot of negative momentum going on right now. They're the transfer portal. Norvell's the transfer portal guy. But if I'm a recruit coming in and they lost by 60, and I know it doesn't really matter, but positive public perception, it matters.
I think it's healthy to remind them.
Yeah. They might have just scored again. We'll see. But that game, it affects the momentum. This doesn't help. And if you're Mike Norvell, this makes your life so much more difficult because you have assistants that can't recruit. You have handicaps on your recruits. Do you just take the Bama job and just go with it just because it's easier on you?
Hold on, Matthew.
I think they did. I think he gives.
You're saying take the Bama job, like Bama's like in need of Mike Norvell right now. I think Bama's probably
they need someone.
Hey, thanks, but no thanks. We appreciate your time.
He's the betting favorite. He's the betting favorite for that job since Dan Lanning.
I hear you. But that was before this dropped. That was before this all bombshell.
I think this makes them move. I think this makes him not want to stay almost. If that offer's still on the table.
I agree with you, but if I'm Bama, do you take on this dumpster fire? Because it's just going to follow him. He's still associated with it.
At this point, it's like if the Chargers didn't take Harbaugh because he's associated. Who cares? If it's Harbaugh, the right guy for the job.
Hey, don't talk about the national championship in the America's team like that, okay? They are clear of all allegations. Sean D says, I remember when Mims hit the transfer portal, he visited FSU and returned back to UGA. Hey, do we think Kirby just sent out a little bit of a spy? He just tossed out some little inside guys, figure out what's going on.
FSU just did that. The kid committed Colorado, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm back."
So they're doing it too. Everybody's trying to everyone's trying to play the game a little bit. It's maybe everyone's getting a little dirty. I love it. I love it. Was that again?
Oh, I just said I'm sure everybody is. I mean, it's kind of just
get caught.
Yeah, just don't get caught, I guess.
Let me get Chi-Town in here. Hey, look, Chi-Town. I think we this is sometime hey, look at us. We're in this together, Chi-Town. It's a good day for all of us.
Hey, 2024 has started off amazing. We had the Cat Williams interview. We had Stephen A. Jason Whitlock. Nick Saban retired. FSU.
Bill Belichick. Pete Carroll.
Jimmy Kimmel. Aaron Rodgers.
Listen,
hey. Miami can't land a quarterback in the portal. I mean, it's been great. You know, it's
hey, Florida's gonna get drugged another 5-7 season. It's gonna go just the way it's supposed to go.
But hey, we're gonna do it with integrity. Okay, it's gonna be an honest 5-7. Okay, and we're gonna be clean of any allegations. So that's
absolutely right. You were gonna
Miami's
44-10 like a champ, and
we're loyal to a fault. We keep it honest. We're good people around here.
It happens. But I'm so glad FSU's like on the downward. Like for 13 games, they were just riding high. Then they ended up losing their 2 5-star recruits. They get beat 63-3, and Georgia's still scoring. And now they're on probation. It's beautiful.
They're 13-2 now. They're 13-2 as we speak.
Listen,
crazy.
and they're so happy they're landing all these transfer portal guys. I'm just like, yeah, but like you're just building a mercenary squad. Like that's what you're doing. You're not. That's all you're doing. You're not building.
Sorry. I was gonna say, I wonder how FSU Barstool's handling all this.
Oh, they're on the NCAA train.
Do not disturb is what that's what they do there from.
Let me pull up their Twitter. Let's see how they're handling things.
I'm sure it's silence.
On their 247 page, they are just.
He said sue the NCAA.
Yeah.
The timing of all this is hilarious. The entire system wants to see Florida State fail. I mean, can you blame them? I mean, I think this is one thing we can all agree on. Yeah. It's always been Florida State against the world. Free Coach Atkins. Mike is not leaving. He never will. I think he's submitted now at Florida State.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think there's a statue up in front of Doe Campbell. Yeah, but I honestly think Atkins being suspended for 3 games is going to have like a major impact. Like that's their offensive coordinator and their O-line coach. So we'll see how that goes.
Interesting. So the time machine says he violated NCAA rules by driving Mims around. Isn't that safe? Isn't that a safety thing? Yeah, it's definitely a safety thing. No,
who lets UGA player drive after that Jalen Carter situation is wild.
Hey, I'm here for it. I'm here for the jab. But no, he drove around with a booster, and while they were riding around in the car, there was a little bit of hey, I got a deal, cannot refuse type of situation. Where the numbers came out where they offered him $15,000 a month, I believe, to go play at FSU. Pennies. Mims is like, pennies. What am I gonna do with that?
Did you see the recruiting weeks that they lost for next year? They lost 5 scholarships. They lost 18 recruiting days for the spring. They lost 6 weeks for the season.
I love it.
Oh heck yeah! I didn't read that.
Yeah. No. You go down the entire list. Like I actually have it.
Yeah, I got it right here. I'll pull it up. You don't have to yell at us. You don't have to yell at us, Chi-Town. I'll pull it up.
Well, it's your show. You know, I'm just here for the ride. You know, I'm just
doesn't feel like it. So, all right. So yeah, the 2-year cause. So this is the same. I can't remember the guy's name from Tennessee. The show cause. Who was the coach of Tennessee before Heupel?
Butch
that got in trouble. Was it Butch? No, Butch didn't get in trouble. The other guy.
They got a lot of those.
Yeah, like there's so many.
I can't think of his name, but the guy right before Heupel, he got this as well. So basically, if another school wants to hire him in the next 2 years, they basically have to say like, why do you want to hire a cheating, scandalous little twat muffin like this guy? And basically convince the NCAA why they're able to hire him. So he has this stain on him for the next 2 years. I would be interesting to see if he stays at FSU. So we'll see how that works out. A 5% reduction in football scholarships over the 2-year probationary period. So that's kind of that's huge.
That's the biggest one.
That one hurt.
That's. I mean, look, that adds up. A reduction in official paid visits in the football program. That's ironic. In the 2023-2024 academic year by 7. So you're only allowed again so many official visits. I don't know what the exact number is, but now they've lost 7. So now they've got to be even more precise in who they come and have visit. And again, that's them paying for it. Kids can still come unofficial, but that's on the player's dime. I'm sure and next year we'll see them paying for these kids' official visits anyways and have some more violations. A reduction in football recruiting communications for a total of 6 weeks during the 2023 and 2024 and 2024 and 2025 academic years. So I'd imagine that's going to be, 2024 is right now. That's basically this whole year, I'd imagine. Yeah. It's probably this. Yeah. It's probably from how I'm reading that would be from how the 6 weeks plays out. I don't know. But so from January to June and then from August till the end of the year, because that would be the 2025 academic year, technically. So 6 weeks where they can't even talk to a recruit. That's a lot. That's a lot of ground. A reduction in the number of in-person recruiting days during the same time period by academic year by 6 evaluation days during the fall and 18 during the spring. That's going to happen. That's coming up right now. And like you guys were just stating when we all hopped on here, there's more to come, apparently.
What I've heard. What I read.
I have a lot of FSU fans, right? So I've been debating about this with them for like an hour. And
hey Matthew, why did you always look like a strip club? I'm asking for a friend in the comments. I was just is there a poll to the left? I just want to know. Like if there isn't, that's fine.
The Gator helmet.
Okay,
somewhere.
all right. Continue.
What I was saying is, I've been debating about this, and they keep pulling this FSU card. Is we're always getting cheated. This is that. I said if you did it, it's not harsh enough. If you didn't do it, then it's obviously overly harsh. But it seems like you did, so it doesn't seem like the penalty's enough almost. And when you live in South Florida, there's a lot of UF fans, a lot of FSU fans, and you like the 3 or 4 Miami fans in the state. But when you get to this point, it's like constant debate. We're this, we're that, we're this, we're that, and everyone here wants to go to one of those 2 schools. And Miami's kind of the redheaded stepchild, and it seems like all these Florida fans are instantly like jump on the bandwagon. FSU's downhill, and we're loving the fact that all this negative momentum swinging, and Miami's getting Albany Great Dane quarterbacks, but all this momentum swinging, it feels, even though we haven't done as much as I would have liked, it almost feels like we're doing more than we should be just by sitting here and letting everyone else mess up while we just sit here. We lose our 5th and 7th string linebackers, and we just chill and.
Honesty always wins. Okay, keeping it 100.
Maybe the rest of the show should be these 2 going at it.
Bro, Matthew's over here just having like a nice little speech, and he's like piece of shit, and it's like Jimmy Kimmel, Aaron Rodgers here, just going back and forth.
Yep. I'm going to 2 games next year, Miami and Texas.
And you're gonna. That's beautiful. I love that.
We'll beat Miami. Texas might be different.
Jimmy Kimmel's obviously an FSU fan. He's just going to threaten lawsuits all day long.
Oh yeah, all the time. You know.
Hey, real quick, Terry Johnson, Tim Buck says this news made my day. Let's have a beer, dude. I was running around the house like a little kid. Like, I was like, I looked at my wife and I was like, I have a problem. I am extremely toxic because I just love the downfall of our enemies. It really just brightens my day. I don't know what it does, but it just fires me up. Real quick, I got another comment I wanted to pull up. Between the Hedges says, in this new year of era of NIL and pay for play, how do you get caught? How do you get NIL? They can't even cheat good. They can't even cheat the right way. Elo, what's up, man?
What's up? Hey, love the show, man. It's been a while.
Gator fan, then. Okay. Just trying to figure out. Okay.
Oh, no doubt, man. Dude, I actually saw the news about Florida State and how like you said, they can't even cheat good. Like it's weird because like I've like been watching your videos, right? And there's been comments listed of, oh, but you still lost. Oh, we still have a better recruiting class. They're the only recruiting class that's inside the top 15 that doesn't have a 5-star. And also we have 2 5-stars inside the top 10.
2 top 3s or 2 top 5s or whatever.
2 top 6.
The only class that's in the top that has 2 5-stars in the top 10.
What's their average player ranking?
Like 89, I think. I will look it up right now. Hey, Michigan versus the world, dang cheaters! I can't believe it. I mean, Michigan obviously. Hey, America's team, go blue. Those guys are disgusting.
Bro, I wonder how long it's gonna take until like some serious like stuff comes into play for the NCAA to like probably suspend.
Miami is 90. We're at 91.
Because it's happened before, but I don't know how serious they're gonna take it because I haven't heard any smoke about it. But also, it's like they got caught for cheating. Their head coach got suspended for 6 games.
No, it was only like through 2 or 3.
I thought it was 6 games.
I thought it was 4.
Missed 3 to start the season, then missed.
So the start of the season, but that was recruiting violations.
And then the 3 to end the season too.
Yeah, 3 to end the season. Times. Yeah, well, those are 2 different. Hey, easy. Elo, those are 2 different things, okay? You take it easy on Jim. Here's why I love.
I'm just asking.
Here's what I love about it because look, let's say they were cheating because they admitted to it. Like they were stealing signs. The Penn State game, everybody knew they were cheating. They lost Harbaugh for Penn State and Ohio State, and everybody knows that you were cheating, and they still came out and kicked your ass. It makes it worse. Like you took away their secret weapon. And they took with their coach, and they still beat you. Nobody should really we should just hey, they got it done. They got it done at the if they found out afterwards, then 100% it would have a complete asterisk on it. I feel like they got caught at the right time.
But they weren't cheating during is how they performed in the playoffs, though. They outright dominated both Washington and Alabama. I thought Bama was going to go into that Rose Bowl game and then just kick the shit out of them. For the most part.
We found out that Saban's tired. He's getting a little old.
I mean, when you have that kind of play to end the last game of your career, I'd be done too.
Yeah, 7 championships in. I think he's like, you know what?
Yeah, but no one saw that coming.
Screw all this NIL stuff. I'm out. That's.
I mean, I don't care who these people are. None of them saw that coming for Nick Saban.
No.
Me personally, I thought he'd make at least one run out of it and then try to go to the national title again. Because I mean, why not? He's Nick Saban. And then win it and then retire off in the sunset.
Let's go around. Let's go. Well, you just got called a gay turd circle jerk. So let's go around this circle jerk here, and let's Cole. It's more of a trap. It's more of a trapezoid, but you know, it's probably an FSU fan. It's shapes and numbers, and they're tough. They're hard
with this.
Yeah, it's hard to digest that. Let's go. Let's start with Cole. Let's. What do we think for a replacement for old Nicky Nick? And do we think? All right, 2-part question. Who's the replacement? And don't abuse your time here, boys. Let's keep it short and sweet. Who's the replacement? And who do you think Bama can whoever takes it can pick it up and lift? Continue this, or is there going to be a little bit of a drop off? Cole,
I'll start with I think there's going to be a drop off because how could you fit into his shoes? Short answer, probably the hardest job to fill. I really hope it's Mike Norvell because that would make my day watching them get just rolled. But I have zero idea. I'm just sitting here watching it happen. So
real quick, what's interesting? It's like I wanted the Dan Lanning because if Dan leaves Oregon is such a hot topic or a hot spot that one they have a lot of great recruits because that portal for that team opens up for 30 days. Whoever replaces that is going to be probably a hot coach, which then that school is going to, you know what I mean? Like the domino effect. If it was Oregon, would have been nuts. I think if Norvell goes, the same type of domino effect can happen. If it's Lane from Ole Miss, not the same kind of excitement because the replacement for Ole Miss was like, you know what? Hey, we did what we could. We tried.
They would be upset.
They'd be upset, but I don't feel like they would. I don't know if they would be as aggressive on a coaching hire. That would be like another big splash. The name right now is Washington's coach, and again, who does Washington go and get? Yeah, right. Nobody's gonna give a shit. It's just gonna end at that. That's what I thought.
He's good, but there's no recruits with him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's like, it's
the national title and got dominated.
That'd be like worst case scenario for us. I feel like is Washington.
Oh yeah,
for us wanting the toxic, just.
I want to see Norvell watch all the Florida State players leave, and just go pick who you want.
This is a very healthy conversation. Matthew, go ahead.
So for me, it's weird because I come from a different perspective than you guys. My whole life has been Nick Saban dominating college football.
Same.
Nick Saban and Bill Belichick have dominated sports my entire life. So the fact that they're gone, I don't think there's much of a difference in who takes Saban's spot. There will be a drop-off, of course, because the portal, the whole team's – not the whole team, but a lot of guys are going to leave. From a selfish Gator fan's perspective, I hope it's Norvell, but it probably won't be now. I will – another one that's probably unrealistic, I'd like Dabo because we could take some Clemson guys. But they're not going to take someone that can't adapt. I would probably say they kind of just got to – no one wants that job. Like, you can't – you're going to go 10-2 and get ran out of town. Like, you don't want – there's so much lying on that job, and it's still almost Saban's team, even though it's not. Like, he's just, pulling the strings from, his press box, it seems like. So I don't know who wants that job. And if you do take it, you got to be willing to realize that it's a 2 to 3 year thing because you got to
flip the culture around. You got to establish your own identity. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd rather be the coach that let the guy burn in flames and then take that job in 2 to 3 years. Don't be the guy that replaces Nick Saban. That's not the guy. That's not what you want to be known as because that's what you will be known as. You won't be known as Mike Norvell. You'll be known as the guy that replaced Nick Saban.
I said it on a space today. Dan Lanning's statement on how he chose to stay, releasing that video.
Awesome.
Incredible. Stating hey, if you want to come play for a school where the coach isn't leaving, you've set the tone. It's like, damn, this guy's.
They got Evan Stewart.
Yeah, the guy's like, I'm not leaving, and so basically calling out anybody who does leave to go to Alabama. So it's like a double whammy, double-edged sword. And Dan Lanning's taking the move like, I'm going to create Auburn and make it my Alabama. I'm going to be the Nick Saban of Oregon. That's kind of my goal. And Oregon to me has always been I know it's kind of out in the middle of, not in the middle, but out in nowhere's land. But just with the money they have, with the style, the swagger they can carry, they finally got a coach that represents that and that dog mentality. Oregon's going to be something to watch out for. And with a 12-team playoff, the whole thing is busted wide open. Real quick, we've got to go back. Our buddy Paul here says, you guys are delusional. FSU has a better recruiting and transfer portal rank. Well, we know why. We know, of course. You're like nerds in the corner watching their girlfriend get smashed by an athlete they hate. So
how was that Georgia game, Paul?
If that's us, Paul, if we're watching our girlfriend get smashed by an athlete they hate, what are you?
Real quick,
because you're watching us watch that. So I don't know who's. Yeah, you can call in, Paul. We'd love to talk. I mean,
guys, real quick. I think Georgia just scored again on Florida State.
As we're talking. All right, who's your take, Eloy?
For me, it's so weird because logically, I'm thinking Lane Kiffin. Simply because there's been so much smoke around him leaving the program. It's not been big. Obviously, we all know it's like, I mean, Ole Miss just won 11 games again this year. They just signed him to what was a 5-year extension.
That's what I thought. That's my thing.
If there's anybody who seems like he's like ripe to kind of just be like break away from the monotony of what 11 wins means now, to probably take the job of his former protege, of the guy who he was a protege of.
Yeah.
It seems like him. Because another choice to me would be like, and the dark horse to me would be like Kirby. But that's like so out of bounds because of how good Georgia is. If Georgia had like lost 3 games last year or something like that, if there was some regression, I think Kirby would take that all the way because of how good Alabama performed up to that point in the playoffs. But at the same time, it's like, for the last couple of years, Bama hasn't necessarily been Bama because of players leaving, obviously, like Bryce Young leaving for the draft and things like that. And now, obviously, well, who's going to, like, commit now? Because Nick Saban's not calling the shots right now. Sure, he's going to have an office there, but who's going to call the shots? And so the only guy I could think of is the guy who's made the biggest, like, is the biggest change over this offseason, and that seems to be Kiffin in this race. I mean, you think he took away Princey Umar-Miel and he got the number 1 guy, Walter Nolan, in the transfer portal. He's been putting in some work to build Ole Miss into a competent program.
Sure.
And like he's had those ties to Saban for like forever. That's what got him the job for the most part, is his experience there and his ability to succeed at that next level. But like, and that's what seems like to me, he seems like the ultimate like Hollywood hotshot type of guy, like Dan Lanning, you said, to fit that kind of style that
can handle the smoke.
Yeah, the swagger to kind of like take over that kind of job. He did it at USC to instill his own moxie to it.
If he were to leave because of everything you just mentioned, what he did in the transfer portal, the extension, I would be shocked. Genuinely, it makes like everything makes sense outside of all the moves that he just made leading up to this. If none of this happens, I would be like, yeah, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. But it becomes all for nothing. It becomes all for nothing.
Yeah, like you just
like logically it works because of his ties to it, but it also doesn't work because he's got so much stake in Ole Miss right now because of those moves. And so you start to question,
keep going, sorry.
Who's gonna like, because everybody that seems to be in that race right now has had major moves this offseason, for better or worse. But like you mentioned Mike Norvell, right? Obviously, it'd be a fucking troll to have him go and like be the head coach at Bama and leave FSU and see all those wannabe FSU players try and make it big at Bama and have them lose 3 games. But like at the same time, it's like, who's gonna like leave their programs right now? Since most of the guys in there are at made programs that just won 10+ games this year, and are on pace for good things. Kalen DeBoer, Dan Lanning, both fought each other at like tooth and nail in the Pac-12 championship, moving to the Big Ten now, where they might have a better chance to win their division title. And it's like they all have good programs, even though I think Kalen DeBoer might have the best ability to out because of who's leaving.
I think he's the easiest transition because he's only been at Washington for 2 years,
and that's why
I don't think he's the best. I think he's the easiest. There's not enough there.
Lane Kiffin sounds like the guy, but also his stake in Ole Miss is crazy right now. And
there's not enough.
We know where Ole Miss could be going this year, we don't think they're going to be SEC champions or in the title game.
But Final 12 is definitely in the conversation, and that's all he cares about.
That is in the conversation, and who knows? Maybe Ole Miss, with all the moves they've been making in the portal and in recruiting, maybe they take that next step with no more divisions in the new SEC. Maybe they take that next step, and maybe Bama regresses with whoever decides to take that spot. Kiffin commits to his program, and then face off against Georgia in the SEC title game, or Texas, or whoever.
That's what I said yesterday about with Bama, with this happening, I feel like they're stepping away from the ping pong table of what is Saban and Kirby at the moment in the SEC. And like you just said, everyone has kind of like a pretty established program going on, and they're trying to build it. It's like, why am I going to leave here? I got this, and that thing's in the shitter. I don't have to worry about it anymore. And I don't think they're going to just pick up and keep moving. Chi-Town, what do you got, big guy?
I thought Lane Kiffin, before I saw what he was doing in the transfer portal, DeBoer would make sense. Because, Penix is gone. Like, his whole team is like upperclassmen, and I don't know how well they did in recruiting this year. I haven't seen anything in the transfer portal. So DeBoer would make the most sense because it would just make the transition a lot more easier. I heard one person up here. I'm surrounded by Michigan, Ohio State, and Notre Dame fans, so it's crazy up here. But a lot of them are saying that they hope Mike Locksley takes it.
Yep.
Yeah, Mike Locksley, the head coach from Maryland.
That guy.
He's building something good there in Maryland.
Yeah, dude.
That name doesn't spring to mind.
He was a DC at Bama, right?
No, I think he was OC.
Yeah,
he was something offensively.
Yeah. I remember they were talking. I was watching a Maryland game, and they talked about him taking that job. That was his dream job, though, at Maryland. That was what they said. I was like, that seems crazy for somebody who's in this Alabama tree to go to Maryland. It did, like that extension didn't make sense, but he wanted to go back there. So I don't know if he leaves, but he just lost his quarterback. So
yeah, and he's been there for a while. Like I
good
think
pick though. I like that. I was deep in the back there.
He's been there for like I think four years. He's been there enough to like grow his roots and like build up the program, but it's stagnant. Like they're not going anywhere. The Big Ten just got rid of divisions, so now it's Penn State, Michigan, and Ohio State. Michigan and Ohio State could play 3 times next year for the game, the Big Ten championship, and the 12-team playoffs. So Maryland,
also Oregon, Washington. The Pac-12 teams that were good are now coming into play here.
Yeah,
and his program was kind of middle of the pack to begin with,
and they're not changing; they're staying there. So he could come to Bama. I think he has the right mentality. He doesn't. He's not a social media type. He's not brash like Lane Kiffin. He's really just about his business and about work. So I think it would make a lot more sense for Locksley to go down there, because especially since Saban is going to be in the building, and he could actually help him build that or keep that program to where it is. Because I don't think it's gonna elevate to where Saban brought it, and especially since the SEC has no more divisions either, and you have Texas and Oklahoma coming in. So obviously Georgia's got one spot in the SEC championship game, and then you got teams like Oklahoma, Texas, Ole Miss, and all of them vying for the next spot. Florida's not going to be there for some years. So I just don't think that it doesn't make that bad of a spot for Locksley to come down from Maryland.
Bro, the comment section, bro,
it's got to be
shambles, bro.
Like, didn't mean anything, and then he said, "Neither did your season."
just back and forth here. Hey, FSU fans, you're more than welcome to call in.
When it comes to Bama, and you think about their coach, I feel like they could go 3 ways. The best X's and O's, the best football coach, in my opinion, is DeBoer. Like, if you take out recruiting and you take out all the, like, Washington's head coach, DeBoer is the best coach. The biggest splash is Kiffin. The biggest curveball is Sweeney, and the one that we all want is Norvell. Is that kind of like the fair?
I don't know if Dabo's a curveball. I don't know if it's as big a curveball. I think Lane's a curveball.
Fans do not want him.
Yeah, Lane's more of the curveball.
And then the sleeper one's the Maryland guy, I guess, now, because that does make sense.
I think the splash hire would be Dabo, personally, because even though we
do not want him,
I know, but we're just categorizing here, Chad. Don't yell at me. I think it would be a splash hire simply just because of who Dabo is. And I think because Lane would be more of the what was it?
If it was my decision, I want Mike Norvell and Tuscaloosa tonight. Like it's we all want that.
I would want Norvell over there just completely ruin the Bama program to help you all out. FSU is already in shambles, but it would just make it easier. So,
hey, Glenn, yes, we went 5-7, but it was a clean 5-7. Okay, it was
we both didn't make the playoffs, so there's no real difference there. It's not that big.
Now you're 15-0. I need to change that 5 to a 3 and that 0 to a 2. Have your up to date record right now.
Hey, we may be 5-7, but you guys are 0-2 against the NCAA and the playoff committee. So I'll take the 5-7. All right.
And as a Miami fan, you know how warms my heart to see FSU go against
versus a dirty 13-0, whatever.
Like a fraudulent 13-0.
Yeah, can somebody put 13-0 with an asterisk, please?
Yeah, 13-0 didn't play anybody, including us. I don't care. We were trash.
We almost beat the backup quarterback.
And without Napier calling the plays for half a quarter.
This is a good point. Between the hedges says I think if you're Florida or Georgia, you do not want Lane. Anyone else will get fired in 2 years, and they try again and probably get Dan Lanning. I agree, because if there's somebody who's going to get a leash, it's going to be Lane.
Yeah.
So, and maybe a Dabo, right? Somebody that kind of has a little bit of connection. They might give those guys a little bit of an extension, but agreed. We want a Washington coach I would love, because then Bama, I don't think I looked at his resume today, because we're like, who? Coached at Fresno.
He's great.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he coached at Fresno State and then Washington. There's just not much there, in my opinion. I mean, outside of, again, like the level of competition, who he's coached. Like, I'm not trying to. The guy's done a great job. Like, don't get it twisted. The guy shows up to Washington and kicks ass and take names. But how do you come into the SEC, right? Like, it's like you, in my opinion, that Michigan game. If I'm looking at that game, you look outplayed, and that was the first time all year I felt like it looked like, okay, this is a Michael Penix show. You remove Michael Penix out of this thing, and Washington loses 3 games way early on. Mm-hmm. And that's what USC was. They were Caleb Williams.
But if you look at that Washington roster, imagine Penix with the Alabama offensive line.
Yeah. Well, the Alabama
they're just as good. Like, Washington's O-line's also good. It's not.
Also, they're good. They're good for the scheme that he ran, but also you could hide a weak position group with a good scheme. Like that would
Chick-fil-A don't even have a 60 peak.
But if you look at, I think what's actually going to scare a lot of Alabama fans is what Hugh Freeze is doing at Auburn. Like, I think Hugh Freeze is going to have Auburn up and running really soon. So
yeah,
they're all.
Am I the only one that thinks Hugh Freeze is like so overrated? Like, I don't think he's doing anything spectacular.
You're the only one.
I think it's just like. The thing with Napier, it's kind of similar. Because
I don't know.
Came in and was just came flash in the pan in his first year with the recruiting, and the second year also had good recruiting. But then he didn't win enough games to sustain it, and you saw all the recruits leave. I think that's the same thing with Freeze. He just hasn't gotten to that point since what was last year's first year, right?
Last year was his first year. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were competitive in a lot of their games, with exception of New Mexico State, whatever that was. But it pulled Alabama down to the last play of the game, right?
Yeah.
And it's you'd think a 5-7 team wouldn't do that, or a 6-6 team wouldn't be able to do that against Alabama, who was
it's a rivalry
in the SEC title game.
Yeah,
but even still, it was
yeah.
And then it's that second year.
Just real quick, Steve Spurrier said whoever Alabama hires to replace Nick Saban will last 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
So that's what we came to know.
Yeah, I think it'll make the transition from 11-1 to 8-5 comfortable. I think that's what these next coach will be.
Yeah. And that's where I think fans are excited too, because I was talking about yesterday. We had a show on Sunday, and we had an over reliable segment, and it came from Alabama, and Georgia has become that word, just they're going to get it done. It's just all reliable. They're consistent. It doesn't really matter what's happening, what situation is going on. They're going to win this game. Bama is not. They've lost that. You've gotten rid of that with getting rid of Nick Saban.
Yeah,
and it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, Bama. Think about Bama before he got there in 2008, the early 90s, early 2000s, when Florida kind of had their run. Bama was just the middle of the pack. They were what Auburn's been for the last few years. That's what Alabama was.
Yeah,
and
but How good is he that a 10-2 season is considered a down year?
Right.
He lost 26 times in 6 years. And he lost 6 games in the first year.
Round picks than he has losses at Alabama.
And yet still the 08 Gators are the only team to beat him in the SEC.
Oh my god.
I don't
real
care.
quick. FSU, hey Glenn, call in. I mean, the guys, if you guys want to, like you guys, and then this one guy called us losers. Where did he go? DJ. He says, imagine talking y'all words serious on the show. Or imagine taking y'all words serious on this show. Probably never played football a day in your lives, bunch of gamers. Okay. I wish I could game. I miss it.
I actually started football games for my high school, so there's that's a weird thing. I played linebacker.
If you sim Madden franchise, they can't 63-3 is not even possible. So even in a video game, you got no shot.
Yeah, like I don't know how you can still talk after that. We didn't even lose a game that bad. Like, and we played Georgia at full strength. Right?
This is true.
We had all of our starters out there, but do you really think all of their starters would have made up a 60-point difference?
Well, it's all fun and games until Georgia puts in their 7th strings and are up 20 in the second half. Like you can't use the excuse. You can't use the excuse when you bring in Will Muschamp's son. I'm sorry, but you're a negative 2-star recruit. Like he's awful, and he's just running all over him. Like it's over.
That was insane.
It's a lost cause.
And it had to be in our stadium. It was beautiful. I loved watching it.
It was a good game.
Our stadium. It's half your stadium.
It was a good.
Hey, we're good. It's just fine though. I mean, the home field advantage didn't really help y'all this year, so it's all good.
You have like 3 home field fans. Like the Miami Dolphins games have double your fans.
Matthew and Chi-Town clearly have some unsettled beef that I don't aware about.
Me and you are around the same age, and it is okay. We had the same winning seasons in our years together. It's okay.
Don't do.
Yeah, but I've been to a Florida Gator game, and I live 30 minutes from Hard Rock. Right, it's night and day. I've ran into like 6. I ran
in Gainesville. What is there to do in Gainesville?
Go to the swamp, maybe.
Go to football games. You know what there is to do in Fort Lauderdale? You know what there is to do in Fort Lauderdale? Everything, because your stadium's like an hour and a half away from your campus. I ran into like 6 students at the games. There's no one there.
Yet your home field advantage didn't do anything.
It makes games that we lose by less.
Tell me you don't.
It makes you lose by less.
Chai, hold on. Chai, have you been to the swamp?
I've been to the swamp. I've been to Tallahassee, and I've been to the OB and to Hard Rock.
Okay, if you truly love football, like this isn't a conversation.
well, no, because remember, I live up north, so I've been to Ohio State, I've been to Ann Arbor.
Oh, those are incredible too.
Yeah,
I'm just talking about the Hard Rock versus the swamp. Like one's a football stadium, the other one is just bleachers. Like it's not like a conversation.
Obviously, you guys have a better state, but I've never seen a coach fired off of fan attendance.
Oh yeah, I mean Miami knows nobody's gonna come. They're not. They don't hire based on that. So
why don't they build on campus? Like it makes no sense. It makes no sense. No sense.
There's
not
no
a
place.
room, you said?
Not on campus. There's no space on.
It's a dumpster.
Well, then make room at this point. Like you know how much revenue football brings you. They
only have 3. Matthew, they're student. There's like 3 people that go to class. They've got like 10 seniors, 14 juniors, 6 sophomores, and 45 freshmen.
Cha, you'll like this story, so I'm gonna tell it. So this year I went to one Miami game, and it was I think it was a Thursday, or no, it was a Saturday, I think. And I went to the game where you guys were wearing black, and it was against Georgia Tech.
Yeah, we're
I left the game with like a minute left, and just to beat traffic, which there isn't a lot, but I tried to beat traffic, so we left like a minute early. I checked my phone, I go on the score, and I see Georgia Tech has the ball. So I pull up Stream East like any other normal individual, and I saw your guy fumble, and I was like, we should have stayed because Miami just blew it again.
Now was this before Missouri like converted third and down?
Yes, it was like 3 weeks before. But that was the number 19. That was the number 9 team in the country, not a team that hasn't made a bowl game in 10 years or whatever.
That was at Missouri.
We all deserve shit for both of those plays.
Yeah, but one's against Missouri, one's against Georgia.
Fine. Okay.
Hey Matthew, it's okay. It's okay, Matthew. It's okay.
Hey, DJ says
we're both mediocre. It's fine. We're both mediocre.
No, but we're actually going up. I don't think you guys are going anywhere. Like you guys.
We'll see in August.
DJ,
we will. Like it's not
I'll
gonna be
there.
Conversation.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
DJ's. Hey, Lovebirds, relax. DJ says I don't like Miami, but why are the Wizards scared to schedule them every year? My question is, why is FSU scared to schedule anybody throughout the year? That's the real question.
Hey, but Shelton and I already had this conversation where we thought all the Miami Big Three teams should play each other. Like,
yeah, I think they should play each other every year.
We play all of them, right, Shelton? We play UCF, FSU,
yeah.
Miami, right?
Yeah, we play all the big Florida schools.
FSU, Florida, South Florida, and I think
USF. I don't count USF. They're like FIU and FAU.
They almost beat Bama.
Yeah, but all Florida teams are playing each other. Like I think that's the first. Like next year, all Florida teams are playing each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Well,
does anybody play Florida Atlantic?
Stop it.
Well, FAU. I'm asking because we played them a few years ago.
It's a nice stadium actually. I've been there.
That's actually pretty nice stadium. That's a nicer campus in stadium than Miami is. Well, guys, this was a fun show. I appreciate you gentlemen.
Campus, no. Stadium, absolutely. Campus,
yeah.
It's a nicer campus. You guys, I appreciate y'all calling.
But it's not.
I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I appreciate you guys calling in. I'm gonna wrap it up, but this was fun. This was good to bounce this off you guys and have a good little laugh. So I appreciate you boys. Be good. Keep the bell turned on. Subscribe.
When Norvell goes to FSU, or when he leaves FSU to go to Alabama.
I'm not sure they should give him a call.
Even if he doesn't, Florida State's losing to both of us.
We'll go live. We'll go live for sure. You guys be good. I'll see you.
All right. See you guys.
Peace out.